Yeah, it's because people don't buy that obesity is a disease. They don't buy that it's an illness. They don't buy that it's a sickness. They think that it's because we're gluttonous, because we're lazy, and that's why we're this way. But I know that science says something different. We all do. But people that are in our comments that think that, I'm telling you, it's been driven to them for 60 plus years from diet culture, right? If not, guys, it's been driven into our heads too. That's why whenever we stop losing, or we're not losing enough, or we're not at goal weight, we go, what do we do wrong? Listen, ultimately, science has proved that weight is regulated here. And I don't mean willpower. It's regulated in the brain. The body itself, okay, is always trying to survive a famine that's never going to come. So people don't understand, it's not just about building better habits when you're on these medicines. That is for sure true. And why do I think that's the case? Because the habits that we were in before, in my opinion, was due to our brain telling us that we needed to eat the things with the highest calorie and the most sugar and all that stuff. But ultimately, once you take these medicines, have you noticed you don't want those things anymore? And not just that you don't want them anymore, but you tend to want, in my experience, more nutritious things. Those things don't taste good to you anymore. And that isn't just because your habits changed overnight. I didn't even tell you guys who I am. My name's Kim. I'm an obesity care advocate, and I run the Plus Sides podcast, which is a podcast that I say it's a movement in the shape of a podcast. It's in the top 1.5% of all podcasts in the world, and it is all about metabolic disease. I interview experts in this field, as well as people in this community with their brave, amazing stories. If you like that kind of content, now's the time to follow me here. Hit all these buttons and go follow the podcast, which is all linked where it's linked, and it's called the Plus Sides with a Z, and it's anywhere you get your podcast. You all of a sudden have these amazing habits that you formed overnight. That's not how it works. And the problem is, when you take away the treatment, all of those things come back. Your body's trying to regulate and get you back to the larger weight again. It doesn't know that it's bad for you. It thinks you're in crisis when you're losing weight. It's why it fights you so much, whether you're on a GLP-1 or off a GLP-1. It's science. And the fact that people are still stuck up their asses thinking that this is not a sickness or not an illness just sort of blows my mind. And the only thing that I can think is just because they want to believe that way. And I do think that being thin is a social currency. It is. But ultimately, why are people freaking out? Most of us are not skinny. Most of us are not skinny at the end of this journey. We're smaller versions of ourselves, but most of us aren't at goal weight, at least the ones that started like over 300 pounds. Now, I have friends that are super responders, and that's not the case for them. But for me, I lost 110. I still am in the obese category. And even if I wasn't, it would just be in remission. I still have it. It's a chronic disease, a horrible disease, an inflammatory condition that puts me at risk, significant risk, for 13 different kinds of cancer. And the fact that we haven't taken the time to actually put this medicine at an affordable price on Medicare blows my mind. Because Medicare, you are paying for obesity. You're just paying for it on the back end instead of the front end, which is stupid. We don't need to do any trials or anything like that. The trials exist. The data exists. Everything points to it being the right decision to have these on Medicare. It does. Because then Medicare sets the standards, and it will be on other formularies. And we can actually have the treatment for our disease and not let obesity take our country out. Because it is what's killing us. It is what's killing us. So anytime I see these comments, for the most part, I'm able to just blow by it, friend. You know what I mean? But ultimately, sometimes people just say the stupidest shit that at this stage, with all the work that we do here on this app and speaking and all of these different things and going to the hill, no one should be thinking that at all anymore, because it's stupid. It's literally dumb, ignorant. I don't mind ignorant. Ignorant to me just means not informed. I mind willful ignorance. And that's when I flip my shit like I'm doing right now. Anyway, thanks for the rant. I just had to get it out. I cannot take these trolls anymore right now. Follow me here for more. Follow the podcast on YouTube.